hello and welcome to Our Time. Thank you for joining us. Malcolm's not here with me because he's been very busy. Through the summer holiday, there was a few things happening at the Festival Centre, and he's actually been talking to the producer of Club Swizzle. So why don't we join Malcolm now?
Hi Brett, and welcome to Our Time. Now the big question is, what do you now call yourself? Because there's so many names for somebody like you.
I've settled on creative producer.
Which means?
Which means it's a producer, you know, that person that takes all the risk and ultimately
and has to come up with the ideas.
And comes up with the ideas.
Yep.
I guess I inherited creative producer through La Soiree. I was just kind of reluctant to use the word director in that what I am, I guess, in the context of La Soiree, is more like a chef. And so I'm booking artists who have already created their material. So that was I was just sensitive to that at the time. So I didn't really want to call myself a director. I don't care what people
call me. I suppose in the old days, would an impresario or a word of that nature? Yeah,
you have a crazy idea, and then you have the gumption to be able to follow that idea through to delivery. And you know, but at this point in my career, you've got enough sort of sport network around you to be able to deliver that.
And that's the thing, to have the support network. But you're a boy from South Australia.
Yes.
From a country town or coastal town, Moonta.
Moonta.
That used to be famous.
Australia's little Cornwall.
Yeah, exactly. For copper, wasn't it? It was copper.
Copper.
So how did a boy from a copper mining town end up in New York and in London? And
I have no idea. That's the million-dollar question. I don't know. I mean, there's no showbiz running through the veins of the Haylock family. I don't know. You know, I was drawn to the bright lights early on. I had a fantastic drama teacher.
So is that where it started, at school?
That's where it started. It started in school.
Okay.
We had for a really small school. This was an area school. Something like 300 students from reception pre-year 1 through to year 12. And we had a really healthy kind of drama program.
So did that develop the interest?
Yes. And it was really encouraged by my teacher, who I've stayed in contact with.
Okay, we're actually talking in the foyer of the Festival Centre, and I think there's a tour party wandering through. That's the background noise you can hear, which is good because it means the place is alive.
Yeah.
But did you come to Adelaide, or did you really start in Moonta?
No, when you grow up in a small town like that, you're kind of conditioned to leave the nest as soon as your education's finished. So that was never really...
So you came to the bright lights of Adelaide.
Came to the bright lights of Adelaide.
I have a theatre program with your name on it when you were a young actor. So you did actually act.
I did. I don't think I was an actor. I just
That's your opinion of yourself.
Yeah. I liked theatrical types, and being an actor allowed me to inhabit that world. Then left for London on a one-way ticket when I was 21, you know, so I guess I always had...
Big risk.
Yeah. I didn't know what I was doing at the time, which was great, but of course that...
Do you know now?
No.
No, but that's the interesting thing in life, isn't it?
No, it's amazing now I look back at that. Drifting through the Middle East for 6 months, spent 3 months in Syria. The idea of doing that now...
Particularly now,
horrifies me. I mean, it's ridiculous. I was 22, I had no fears in the world.
But do you think that opened up your mind to the differences that could be entertainment?
London back then, on my arrival in London, it was such an intimidating city. You know, I went to see my first show on the West End on my second day in London or something. And
I've done the same.
And now it's amazing that we are really a part of the London kind of theatrical community.
Well, not only there, but New York as well.
And New York, but I guess I have a lot more ties. La Soiree now is played on my business partners based in London, work out of London. I'm there regularly. Yes, we've been lucky enough to tour all over the world from Buenos Aires to Stockholm, but there are these very strong ties to London. London really embraced this genre, I guess, that
It's the current word, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah. I mean, but was this circus, the blend of circus and cabaret, there's no question. Leclerc, which morphed into La Soiree, pioneered that. It is now, we're flattered by the number of imitators, but it really did. We weren't, it was subconscious, but
You've created something new, a new way of looking at it.
Yeah.
And it's a way, when you're sitting watching the show, which I've done, you're sort of slightly, not in fear, but you just don't know what's going to happen next.
That's a good...
And it is, because so much stuff in life is predictable.
Yeah.
And it's an unpredictable experience.
in this world we live in, I think that the response from that audience has been really important in La Soirée and in Club Swizzle, where it's real, it's live, it's different every night. There is no fourth wall.
Yep.
We live in this world of manufactured talent and overnight sensation and overnight fame. There you are, performers. We can see the whites of their eyes. You can see every beat of perspiration.
And the sweat, yes.
And these are performers who've spent 15 years to get to that point.
And what I particularly liked, and you just touched on it there, was with reality TV shows constantly saying this person's a star and that person's a star. You don't necessarily know who these performers are in advance.
Exactly right.
And it really opens your eyes to genuine talent. It's not just somebody holding a microphone warbling a song in a pretty frock with a lot of stuff happening behind them.
Yeah.
It is real, it is in your face, and it is totally engrossing. In fact, the time just goes...
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, what these shows do, and what we all hope to do, is we create that real sense of community for those 2 hours. It's shameless. I mean,
Some of it is.
I mean, it's...
But it's the blend. So where did you find the blend? Where did you find the people?
I mean, I'm very fortunate now in that I'm constantly on the move, and that allows me to scour the world.
Do you go out a lot?
Yeah.
Late night venues?
Yes, I do. That's where...
Do people give you like tips? You should see this person.
That happens now. Life is easier now. That part of the casting component of my role, because of our profile.
Yeah.
We now have a number of performers who are batting down the door to be a part of this family, if you like. And we don't hold auditions or whatever. It's purely instinctive. La Soirée's now lasted 11 years. That's an extraordinary achievement. These are a group of people. We've grown up together. I'm 44.
And this is
one quarter of my life has been spent with these people.
But this is the show that's been touring Australia and doing the festivals and so on.
And this, you spend 11 years of your life, but because it's not an everyday life, you're both sharing accommodation, you're sharing meals, you're sharing your workplace. You know, it's quite an
And you're working ahead of yourself.
Yeah.
There's so many more questions that I want to ask Brett, so just stay with us and we'll be back in a minute with a lot more answers. Welcome back to Our Time, and we're here with Brett Haylock from Club Swizzle.
Club Swizzle is still a baby. It's its third season here in Adelaide. It's still finding, I mean, I think we've had an extraordinary response here, but this is a show that's at the beginning of its trajectory. We know, I'm very confident, that with the international contacts that I have, and La Soirée will open up a number of doors for its sister show, if you like, Club Swizzle. I'm very, very confident that this will have a number of years of touring ahead of it.
Oh, I think so.
It's the beginning. This is the very, very beginning of that. It hasn't left Australia. We play here in Adelaide. It's its third season. We're using this fantastic opportunity with generous audiences here in Adelaide to kind of experiment, push, play. We've been here each afternoon. Something like La Soirée doesn't need to do that. It's very, very confident of what it is. And Club Swizzle still...
So the guys rehearse every day and girls rehearse every day?
We are rehearsing every day. It's putting in a lot of pressure on the workload, but everybody...
Well, it's finding that joining thing, isn't it?
Exactly right.
There's an interesting thing because the whole show is set around a bar.
Yeah.
And that's what's so unexpected. You walk into the venue, where's the stage? Oh, the band is there, but...
Yeah. That's what we
And
hope.
then, amazingly, things happen.
Yeah. And then hopefully but that was part of the original premise of this show, was to really blur that line. And I think that we can still do more of that.
So do you have another show in your head? Are you secretly working on
2 shows?
Oh, is that enough for you?
And now at the moment, you know, and another little side projects by building.
So when you grow up, what do you want to be?
I want to continue to do what I do at the moment, surround myself with people that I thoroughly enjoy their company.
Yep.
As you know, it's doing 8 shows a week, standing up at the end. Although whilst I'm not presenting Club Swizzle, I'm very much connected to it.
Oh, you're very much part of it, really.
Yeah,
you're fluffing around. You're mine host in the old sense of the word
that's
as well.
Right. But whilst with La Soiree. She's working, you know, anywhere between 10 and 11 months a year. I'm standing at the front and hosting that show.
But you started more or less comparing that, didn't you?
Yeah, reluctantly, to be honest, at the beginning.
I thought you were great.
Yeah,
It had a lovely sort of 40s, 30s, 40s feel
yeah.
in its look.
I wanted to, when we started off that, I was just sort of, I ended up doing it because no one else was around. I did it. And we came up with a structure which was actually, we didn't realise, was actually also quite new, in that I guess it was part of my reluctance, and also we didn't really know what we were doing, so we didn't have a model from which to base it on. So if you look at La Soiree now, it is a bit different to Club Swizzle. The biggest difference, and why a huge part of its success is its pace and its rhythm. And what we did do is we took out the MC role from a variety show. So we didn't invent anything. What we did is we sexed up, you like, and made variety relevant to an entirely new generation. Nothing new there, but we took the best of what's available in, you know, best special acts.
Well, that's an interesting thing though. What age group are you really targeting? I mean, we all say everybody.
Yes.
But in fact, it's very broad, isn't it?
It is genuinely really broad. Here we are in an established market. Here, this is a show. I like presenting shows in the leave the kids at home sector.
It's an adult show.
It's an adult show.
Yeah,
There's not nothing in there. You can bring grandma at all.
But you wouldn't bring a teenager. Oh, you wouldn't bring a 9-year-old kid, maybe.
No, you can if you want, but
it's
I
an
really
adult
like
and
that,
sophisticated.
And I think that's a very that really appeals to me on many levels.
Well, everything doesn't have to be for everyone.
That's
the point, and we've sort of lost a bit of that.
I like creating a night, and now after all these years, I feel like I have really developed a shorthand with the general public and what triggers their buttons, and that's what my job is to do. Shameless escapism. You leave.
It is
your real world at home with the babysitter.
Yep.
You come out for a night and have a few drinks. Maybe that's part of the equation, maybe not, it doesn't matter. But my job is to create a fantasy world where tax bills and they don't exist. And so it is shameless.
Well, really, that's what entertainment should be.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
leave your worries at the door. Let us take you to another place.
And I love playing, and both shows exist in that same world. It really, they're cheeky, they're irreverent. Oh, did he really? And we playing with a little.
Or did she really?
And playing with a little bit
because
of.
I copped it. I was part of the show myself.
Yeah, that's
unexpectedly, thanks to I think you.
Yeah, I did not set that up.
But Brett, it's great. It's just great to see the success that you've had, and clearly you're going to have in the future.
Thank you very much. It's still fun.
Could we just sneak a peek at what they're doing in their rehearsal?
Of course. Come in. I think we're just rehearsing up a new Swizzle Boy as we speak.
Okay, well, we'll be back in a minute. We'll just take you for a sneak preview of what's happening inside. Amazing, fantastic. But there's so much more of that in the show. And this is the stage.
This is a stage.
And underneath that is a bar.
Correct.
And the whole thing revolves around...
I guess the whole show hung off that very simple idea of blurring this line of having a fully operational bar that revealed itself and had a number of bells and whistles that revealed itself over the course of the
Real
night.
surprises, actually, bells and whistles.
Yeah.
They really are.
Yeah.
Brett, best of luck in the future.
Thank you very much.
If this show comes back to Adelaide, please let us know.
I will.
Is there any news you can tell us?
We've had a great time here, and I can assure Adelaide that we are already in discussions about a return for 2017.
Fantastic. Congratulations on this.
Thank you very
much.
much.
Great to see you.
Great to see you. Thanks, Malcolm.
And we'll be back in a minute with more Our Time. Welcome back.
Yes.
Janet, it was great talking to Brett Haylock. I've known Brett for a long time, and just seeing the structure of the show and everything that he put together was amazing.
Was it? Fantastic.
And we have a very special guest to introduce to everybody right now. Her name is Lavette Williams.
Welcome to the program, Lavette.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we're having you for a very special reason that we're going to reveal at the end of our chat. But Lavette, first of all, can you just tell us where you were originally from?
I'm originally from West Africa, Liberia.
Liberia. You couldn't remember that name
No, I
before,
couldn't.
Trying to tell me.
And from Liberia, obviously you came to Australia, but why did you leave Liberia?
Due to civil war, I didn't just leave Liberia straight to Australia. I had a little bit of a journey to get here. So I've lived in probably 4 different countries before.
How old were you? Sorry to interrupt you, but how old were you then when you had to leave Liberia?
5.
5, so very little.
Yes.
Okay.
So as a child, being part of a civil war, what memories have you got of that time?
I wouldn't say I have memories of Liberia civil war because I was really young, but I did live in La Côte d'Ivoire, which is, in English, is the Ivory Coast. So,
Ivory Coast,
yes,
okay.
it's also in West Africa. When I lived there, that's when I kind of remember what happened because I was a bit older at the time, and there was a civil war there as well, and we had to leave and go to another nearby country. It wasn't a great memory.
You're saying we. Were you with
My family.
your family? How many are in your family?
Oh, we've gone bigger now, but
Then?
At the time?
then we're probably about 20, 19, 20, because we're, where I come from, Africans in West Africa, we call everyone family. So my auntie, her kids, we can all live in a big house
They're
together.
like brothers and sisters, really.
Yes, and we grew up calling each other brothers or sister, not necessarily biological brother or sister. We might be first cousin, second cousin, but it's a tradition that we all say brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Do you think, coming into this society, do you think we've lost something in this society that you had back then? Mind you, you're in a country with civil war where there wasn't probably enough food and the living conditions weren't great. But have we lost something in our relationships with each other? Do you know...
As in the family connection?
In the family connections, yeah. People don't seem to have that closeness anymore or that need for each other.
Yes, I agreed. I think when we first moved to Australia, we thought we were 22 by the time we got here. Because, you know, family have had kids and other kids have come along and joined us. And when we got to Australia, we thought, you know what, we can all live together in one house as a family. But unfortunately, there's not big houses here to host 22 people in one. Yeah. But also, it's really difficult with the lifestyle here, with jobs, and, you know, you have to be independent at one point in your life. And, you know, we were introduced to, you know, when you're 18 years old, you have to move out of home, or you want to go to school, you have to choose career, that kind of a thing. So that kind of a change, and it was a bit difficult for my auntie, who was the oldest of the family, because she was used to, you know, having everyone around and, you know,
right.
everything happening.
Yeah, we don't
together.
think about that because it's, as the young ones move on, it's always the older ones that are sort of left and everyone's going. It's like, hello, bye.
Yeah.
So coming out here, did you know what to expect in Australia?
Honestly, if I said yes, I'll be lying. I just knew.
Sorry, if I ask you, would you know more about what living in America would be like? Would that?
Yes, I did.
And how would that be that you knew more about America?
Because I'm from Liberia and we were colonized by America, sorry. Liberia is the only country in West Africa that was colonized by America. So we watched a lot of TV shows, all the cartoons were Americans, and in school we were taught English, and it was more like the American spelling and reading, that kind of a thing.
Okay, yeah.
Tomato instead of tomato then?
Yes, yes, tomato. I sometimes say tomatoes, and they're like, no, it's tomato. I'm like, oh, sorry.
Potato.
Yes.
All of that.
Potato. No, that's the song, isn't it?
Yes,
Sorry,
it is.
sorry, losing the point.
You are.
Getting back to you. So when you came to Australia, what happened first? Where did you arrive?
Sydney.
And you came in as, you didn't come in as a boat person. I'm just making that point for anyone who thinks that you might have. So you immigrated to Australia officially?
Yep.
And why did you choose Australia over America?
Well, I didn't choose. I see it as a blessing because my auntie, they were, at the time, Australia was taking in women and children. So because my auntie was the head of the family and she had lots and lots of children, Australia looked at her story and said, okay, we will take you and your family. So that's how we came on the women and children humanitarian program.
Okay.
And then we were in Sydney for a week, and then they took us to Newcastle in New South Wales, and I lived there most of my teenage life. And then 5.5 years ago, my auntie decided she wanted to move to Adelaide, and I followed.
Okay, was that just for work reasons or what?
No, community-wise,
Right.
because in Newcastle there weren't enough African community that she could relate to. I mean, we were fine. We could go out and hang out, but she had no one to be friends with. At the time, it was a very small town where there weren't a lot of diversity. So she came to Adelaide for a visit, and she saw how diverse South Australia was, and particularly Adelaide. So she decided she was going to come closer where she can be part of a community and kind of relate to the people around her.
And that's worked out well for all of you.
For her, I would say, because I had to leave my friends, but I have adjusted in the past 5 years, and I've made friends.
I guess you've had to make a lot of adjustment, though, considering
Yes.
over the years.
Yes.
Did people think you're American?
Yes.
Yeah.
When
Because there was a
sometimes-
little accent?
Yeah. When I pronounce some words, they're like, "Are you American? You sound American." I'm like, "No, I've been there, but no, I'm not American."
So have you gone through the becoming a citizen
Yes.
of
Yes.
here? How did you feel when that happened?
I was really young. I think I got my citizenship in 2008, and I was excited. I finally could say I have a place to go home, because most of my life I was a refugee in refugee camps, in communities. I wouldn't say I was accepted as much as I feel, because I made an oath saying that this is my country, this is my home now, and I'm going to follow the law here and obey by it, and also represent myself as an Australian as well. So, yeah.
And so career-wise, you're heading into a career of journalism.
Yes.
What made you choose that?
As a child, I watched TV, and I didn't know what a journalist was. But I remember watching, the people on TV giving the news, and I said, I want to do that. When I get old, I want to be on TV. So when I got to Australia, I did performance. I used to dance and sing. And then...
What do you mean used to? Don't you still?
No.
You fit in with us perfectly, yes.
absolutely.
Do you tap dance? Do you put a point there?
No, I do hip-hop, a little bit of hip-hop,
Okay.
and African traditional dancing as well.
Okay.
Terrific.
That is terrific, actually.
Remember that one,
We will
Malcolm.
remember that. That's it. We will. So your aim in life now is what?
Well, career-wise, I'm definitely pursuing my career in journalism. I'm looking to do broadcast journalism. I've got a little bit of background in radio, particularly because I've been doing radio for the past 2 years at Radio Adelaide and Live FM. But now I'm moving a little bit towards TV. It's a bit different for me. But
Hello.
Challenge. There we go.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you've certainly got a face for television.
oh, thank you.
So we've been talking, Lavette, and we're just wondering, because you want to be a journalist and because you come with a different set of probably values, not values, but a different way of looking at things, it'd be great to have Lavette do some segments for
And
us.
she's young.
Well, we won't hold that
And
against
beautiful.
you. Beautiful, I agree
Yeah,
with.
but it would be lovely if you could join us occasionally.
And yeah, find some segments about people who are doing different things in life. Perhaps people that have come from your background or any background, and we'll have some special reports from our new reporter, Lavette Williams. And also you can say thank you now, that's okay.
Thank you.
But you also might have a suggestion on Facebook, or you might like to email us, and here is the address. And soon you'll see Lavette doing some stories. But until then,
Thank
time
you
to
for
go.
joining us. See you next time on
Keep
Our
yourself
Time.
nice till then. Bye.
Bye.